Let's see. Also,
Yeah.
there's a thing that you were raised, you know, always having access to. Oh, here's one of my blocks. You were raised having access to Mother Nature.
Yeah, that is true.
I think that gave you a unique perspective on what was happening overhead.
Maybe true. I'll tell you what, you know, I've been here at Mount Lemmon ever since I asked my dad, like, how quick did I get up there? He goes, I don't know, like within the first week, of course.
Yeah.
I said, wow.
Yeah, why don't I start off with asking a question about what's it like to have been up on Mount Lemmon for your entire life?
Hey, except there's one small issue with that.
What?
I already started the video and I'm going to use it. Ow.
I don't understand.
The video's recording right now, sir.
Oh!
Okay, so, what was the question again?
Well, you've been up on Mount Lemmon, you know, vacationing and, you know, getting up here whenever you could.
Sure.
Most all of your life. So my feeling is it gives you a perspective about nature that other people haven't had. And why do you think that geoengineering jumped out at you so strongly?
Well, I'm going to have to go back to the first thought about my mother. I wasn't too keen about these trails in the sky. Matter of fact, I went out of my way to not photograph them, to not take pictures of them, because they were messing up the sky. But I wasn't even thinking that it was some inferious program, so I just know that I went out of my way to not take pictures. So then, it was later when my mother passed away, and I was talking to some people online about it, and I said, you know, what is hardening of the lung? And I was trying to figure it out. They said there's two kinds, one that they know what causes it, and the other one that they don't know what causes it. And that's what my mother had. And that's what she died of. So I was trying to figure it out, and someone says, dude, your mom died from chemtrails. And I said, what? And he starts telling me, and I chewed him a new asshole. I said, I don't need this bullshit. You're telling me lies, and just went off on him. And I didn't hear anything from him, and then that triggered me on research. I started, and boy, was it if any one of you knows that experience, it's like a wow. So
Down the rabbit hole.
and there I went, and later, probably about a year or so after it, and I'm already tearing it up, making signs, doing anything I could to get this information out there. And I tried to find that guy with no luck. I even put little messages out. Whoever it was that told me that, I want to know. You just triggered a majestic dude, and I'm going to tear it up. I'm going to take you out here to show you my other apple trees. Got another set. In the Nugents. Ted's not here right now, so. Actually, no, it's not Ted's. So. I tried.
But the idea of a life spent partially up in the midst of Mother Nature, it seems to me that when you look at geoengineering from being deep in nature, that geoengineering looks worse. And I just have a feeling that you being up here partially, during your entire life, gave you a different perspective.
Very possible. Because I tell you what, when you see it up here, especially if you go over by the ski lift,
right?
We're talking, what's that? There's no question in your mind. I don't care who you are or what knowledge you have.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing normal about it. Because what happens is, guys, when you're right next to the plane, which most of us aren't, and up here you're almost right next to the plane.
Yeah.
You start to see the immediate separation. You start seeing, there's issues.
Yeah, voluminous
material
that's coming out.
And it's like, what the heck? And then, in no time at all, this stuff's falling down on you. And you're going, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So, and this is one of the apple trees right here. These two have had a hard life. That's what's left of poor little apple tree sticking out here.
Oh, yeah.
They actually plowed it out one time and just tried to, and they almost killed it. That's an apple tree. The one next to it's an apple tree, and the one right next to the porch is an apple tree.
So you used to pick these apples?
You only get about 3 or 4 on these.
Okay.
Now this one, not only is still packed full, but this is a nice apple tree. And the issue with this one is, I'll tell you what, those apples are quite worthy when you're done, because I risk my life on this baby. Because look at the, they all go.
I see,
You shake
yeah.
it a little, and they go
It's right on
down,
the edge of
and
the cliff.
even Ginger says, I ain't going down there. Okay? And whatever it is that is down there sometimes and eating apples, it might be down there and it's not real happy you're coming down there. So they just kind of go. And
Yeah,
go
I
and
see.
go. So,
I see.
But you can see it's still got quite a few on it.
Yeah, it does.
You guys can see that? See any apples? It's usually the ones overhanging the mountain, and I'm the one that did it this year. I went and got as many as I could, and I still can't get, even with a long pole, those ones.
Mm-hmm.
I could give it a shake, but
That would all
two
go
things.
down there.
If I can get down there, it ain't gonna be no good by the time you get down there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a brave soul, but I ain't going down there.
So back to my my life. I don't know. I guess this is what we're doing here, is kind of talking about my life. And then,
yeah.
you know, again, my grandfather was a very prestigious, outgoing man, and a lot of the Tucson residents already knew my name. They may not know me or whatever, but they all knew. They go, Haskell, how come? I know, that's like, and I go, well, maybe because it, like, a couple hundred trucks driving around with these huge letters on say this Haskell Linen Supply, and they go, oh, totally, that's exactly.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, one of the things is my grandpa started Haskell Linen Supply when he was 16 years old, which was 1916. And he bought a route. It was already established by some other boy, and it was a route to pick up your neighbor's towels. And he brings them home, he washes them, and he rides back on his bicycle and delivers them. And so that's what he actually bought, an established route to do that. And he went from there to, first his mom says, it ain't happening here. You're going to ruin my washing machine. So that's the first Haskell Linen Supply, was a machine that they bought to do his linen. And then he went from getting his brother involved, and they were riding around bikes, and pretty soon it was just, they got enough accounts that it wasn't enough, so they bought a truck. And they turned that, and they were still at 1916 at that point, to a $8 million business that we unfortunately sold in 1983, right when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I did have a little privilege when, because I'd get to go to Haskell Linen Supply with my truck. We were allowed once a week, and they had their own gas pumps.
Oh, okay.
So I pull up and I go, hey, gargoyle, unlock the pump. And they're like, fucking owners, kids. So the reason why he didn't like us is not just because they're the owners. He had to fix all of our trucks when we broke them. And we were real good at breaking our trucks.
Yeah.
So he'd bring them to the mechanic and pull them off of some other truck. And say, here, you got to fix this. It's got 2 broken axles. And, what? From what? Jumping. None of your business is fixing. So that's why the mechanic was probably not real happy with the owner's kids. Anyway, so then we went on, and my grandpa's just an awesome guy. He's taught me a lot of what I know. And, and principles and everything. My grandpa was a really good guy. And then,
what the story? Speaking of apples, since we're near an apple tree, wasn't your grandpa involved in a story with apples in the First World War?
actually, that wasn't my grandpa, but when I looked it up, because this was, we're talking, I don't even know what year this was, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it turned out in my history, when we looked it up, and genealogy helped that, and don't give them your DNA, by the way.
Yep.
But they looked it up, and there was a story that was published a long time ago. I mean, this is an old story. And apparently one of the Haskells that was of my heritage, when they were in one of these wars, and it had to be either First World War or even before that.
Maybe earlier, yeah.
And they were fighting with someone else, and they were real close to each other as far as in location, so they had hunkered down for the night. And this Haskell guy, they were starving, and especially the probably everyone was starving, but the officers had nothing to eat. So Haskell went out in between the two armies, and there was an orchard right there, and he picked a shitload of trees or apples,
yeah.
and he brings them back, and he brought enough to feed at least all the officers, and they recognized him and gave him an award for he's the one that had the balls to go towards the enemy and bring back the food.
Yeah, bring back food. Yeah.
So that's actually in history, and I go, yeah, that seems pretty close to me. Who knows? I might be one of the regenerations of that guy.
From being around you for a while, you have a tremendous amount of determination.
Yeah.
You know, when you set your mind on something, it's going to get done. You know.
Yeah, it has to be something that it's deep in my heart, and then I will. Other things, I just go, whatever, you know.
Yeah, we all have stuff that we slide around, you know.
Yeah.
But when you choose something, you give it your all.
I'd say so. That would be correct.
Yeah.